Heidi in Littleton, Colorado. You wanted to share a story with us, Heidi?
Yeah, hi, Tom. I am a longtime listener, Bernie starter with PDA since January of last year.
Wow.
And an Occupy member and BLM member. I'll be calling you more often because I want to tell you more personal stories. I just want to call on behalf, I'm going to try to get it out because I'm very PTSD'd right now. I'm laying under the covers today. I am speaking for parents who have either been in a shooting with their children or lost children. My son, when we moved to Colorado, went to Arapahoe High School in Centennial. I had meetings with the administrators before the shooting with Carl Pearson, and Claire Davis was killed, and it was horrible. My son I told these people there was a horrible amount of bullying and anti-Semitism and homophobia and racism to the point that my son, who's very gregarious, couldn't go to school. I questioned them about getting bullying programs in. That same week, Carl Pearson was threatening to kill teachers. He was looking at weapons online in school.
Wow.
The district people and the administrators covered it up. They told the guards not to put it in writing that the kid was looking at weapons. They didn't listen to anything any of us said. And after the shooting, I went to the board 6 weeks later, and I confronted them, and I spoke out. It was in the newspapers. I took my name out because I just left my comments in, and I demanded that they be held accountable for culpability for murder.
Mm-hmm.
And I was threatened by the administration. They had called my home. They threatened my 15-year-old son. I have a page, if anyone is interested. It tells the story of how we can prevent these kinds of things. It's called Parents at Arapahoe High School. It has a picture of children holding up candlelight vigils.
Okay, is that a Facebook page?
It's on Facebook, Parents at Arapahoe High School. I have gone out of my way to hold them accountable, and they are terrified of me, but they have effectively shut a lot of us down. The major point, and also I want to say that as a Planned Parenthood supporter who marched in the Now in D.C. in 1988, or in 89, I got an abortion at a Planned Parenthood clinic and was spit on in the 80s. The clinic in Brookline was where I found out about my first pregnancy that I kept. It was shot up a few the one in Brookline on Beacon Street. Mm-hmm. I'm so PTSD'd I can't even tell you. The main point is many of us parents don't hate Carl Pearson, the shooter. What we hate is the fact that after the shooting, the district was given money to implement anti-bullying programs. And I personally spoke to the directors of the programs. They were told that the school and the district refused to allow these programs into their schools for fear, we suspect, that would admit some sort of guilt. So I also encouraged them. We didn't even know whether my son couldn't even get a hold of me for half an hour. I thought he was dead. The schools didn't alert us. They still have not fixed that. I have an email demanding they put in some of those alerts by text. Still have not done that. The bigger issue here is that Carl Pearson, this shooter, had severe mental health problems. They refused to give him an IEP. This is all in the sheriff's report. And they violated federal law. Had they followed federal law and given him an IEP and de-escalated the situation, he might have very well not have shot up the school. The bigger point is that we all need to stop calling some of these people just wackos, and we need to really treat this as a crisis of mental health, starting with Reagan, dumping everybody onto the streets and into private prisons, and really treat these people, give these kids help and give these people help and give mental health help. Because until we do that, it doesn't matter how many weapons you fix so that you can't point it. I was at the supermarket across from the high school, and I had amnesia last night. Didn't remember where I was because of the other shooting that just happened. And I had some guy talking about how he was getting his gun license, this manager, and getting his permit for conceal. And I said, stop talking about it because my kid was at Arapahoe, and he's right across the street from Arapahoe. I got into my car, and I didn't know where I was.
Wow.
I couldn't even get home.
Wow.
So I'll call you back about another issue, but for God's sake, people, we have got to stop this kind of right-left argument and this crap with the NRA and this garbage about terrorism, which is a canard. And we have got to insist that we get mental health into our states and get people help immediately.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry for taking up so much.
That's quite all right. I absolutely agree with you, Heidi. In fact, the community where I live right now is dealing with the crisis of a potentially violent a homeless person who's been living down there for a decade and on the street and is now starting to threaten people. And we're discovering that there's really no good mental health services. I mean, there are some, but that it's damn hard to get people mental health care when they need it. Heidi, thank you for the call. This is, I mean, you go back to Reagan, emptying out the mental health hospitals and creating homelessness in the United States in the 80s. To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here, and please be sure to hit the handy dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.